hold on to your hats, because I've got breaking news that's going to make your October a whole lot brighter. If you're receiving Social Security benefits, SSI, SSDI, or VA compensation, you need to hear this right now. The Social Security Administration just announced surprise adjustments to October payments that millions of Americans weren't expecting. We're talking about real money hitting your accounts sooner than you thought possible, and the reasons behind these changes are absolutely fascinating. Whether you're a retiree counting on every dollar, a disabled veteran who served our country, or someone navigating the disability system, this update could mean hundreds of extra dollars in your pocket this month. I've spent the last 48 hours digging through the official announcements, and what I found is going to shock you. Some recipients are seeing increases they haven't experienced in over a decade, and it's all thanks to a perfect storm of policy changes and economic adjustments that just aligned in October 2025. Before we dive deep into these game-changing updates, I want to make sure you don't miss any crucial information that could affect your benefits. Hit that subscribe button right now and ring the notification bell, because I'm your go-to source for the latest Social Security, disability, and veterans benefits news. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. And there are even bigger changes on the horizon that I'll be covering in upcoming videos. Let's start with the biggest surprise of all. The Social Security Administration has implemented what they're calling an emergency cost of living adjustment specifically for October 2025. This isn't your typical annual law that usually takes effect in January. This is an unprecedented mid-year adjustment that's catching everyone off guard, including financial advisors and benefits experts who have been following these programs for decades. Here's what happened behind the scenes. Throughout September, economic data started showing inflation spikes that were far more severe than the SSA's initial projections for 2025. The Consumer Price Index for essential goods like groceries, utilities, and healthcare jumped significantly higher than anyone anticipated. Normally, the SSA would wait until the following year to implement any adjustments, but the impact on fixed income Americans became so severe that Congress pressured the administration to take immediate action. The result: most Social Security retirement beneficiaries are seeing an immediate 3% increase in their October checks. For someone receiving the average Social Security benefit of $1,907 per month, that translates to an additional $61 per month starting right now. But here's where it gets even better for many recipients. Those who fall into specific categories are seeing even larger increases. If you're receiving Social Security Disability Insurance, also known as SSDI, your situation is particularly interesting this month. The disability determination process has been under intense scrutiny lately, and the SSA has been working overtime to address backlogs and ensure that disabled Americans receive the support they desperately need. As part of this October adjustment, SSDI recipients are not only getting the standard 3% cost of living bump, but many are also receiving retroactive payments for processing delays that occurred earlier this year. The average SSDI payment for October 2025 has jumped from $1,537 to $1,586. But the retroactive adjustments are where the real surprise comes in. If your SSDI claim experienced any delays between January and August of this year, you're likely eligible for a lump sum payment that covers the difference between what you should have received and what you actually got during those months. Some recipients are reporting retroactive payments of over $2,000 appearing in their accounts, alongside their regular October benefits. For supplemental security income recipients, the news is equally exciting, but comes with some important nuances you need to understand. SSI payments for October 2025 have increased from the previous maximum of $943 for individuals to $974, and for couples, the maximum has risen from $1,415 to $1,460. But here's the critical part that many people are missing. These increases are being calculated based on your individual circumstances and state supplements. If you live in a state that provides additional SSI supplementation, your total increase could be significantly higher than the federal number suggests. States like California, New York, and Pennsylvania have announced that they're matching the federal emergency adjustment with their own state-level increases. This means some SSI recipients in these states are seeing their total monthly benefits increase by over $80 per month, effective immediately. Now let's talk about our veterans. Because the Department of Veterans Affairs has coordinated with the Social Security Administration to ensure that VA disability compensation keeps pace with these emergency adjustments. This coordination is something we haven't seen in years, and it demonstrates a real commitment to supporting our nation's heroes during these economically challenging times. VA disability compensation rates for October 2025 have received what the department is calling a concurrent adjustment to match the SSA's emergency law. For a veteran with a 100% disability rating, the monthly compensation has increased from $3,737 to $3,857, an increase of $120 per month. But veterans receiving both VA compensation and Social Security benefits need to pay close attention because the interaction between these two systems can affect your total monthly income in ways that aren't immediately obvious. The VA has also announced that veterans who are currently appealing disability rating decisions or who have claims pending will see expedited processing throughout October and November. This means if you've been waiting for a decision on your VA claim, there's a much higher chance you'll receive a resolution before the end of the year, potentially with retroactive benefits dating back to when you originally filed your claim. One of the most significant aspects of these October changes involves how they're being implemented technically. Unlike previous benefit adjustments that sometimes took weeks to appear in recipients' accounts, the SSA and VA have coordinated to ensure that these increases appear automatically without any action required from beneficiaries. Your direct deposit should reflect the new amounts starting with your October payment, and if you receive paper checks, the new amounts will be clearly indicated on your payment stub. However, there are some important timing considerations you need to be aware of. Social Security payments are typically distributed based on your birth date, with recipients born between the 1st and 10th of the month receiving payments on the 2nd Wednesday. Those born between the 11th and 20th receiving payments on the 3rd Wednesday, and those born between the 21st and 31st receiving payments on the 4th Wednesday. With these October increases, some recipients are reporting that their payments arrive a day or two earlier than usual, likely due to the additional processing required for the emergency adjustments. For SSI recipients, remember that your payments typically arrive on the 1st of the month, but when that falls on a weekend or holiday, payments are distributed on the last business day of the previous month. With the October adjustments, many SSI recipients saw their increased payments arrive on September 30th, which initially caused some confusion, but was actually the correct timing according to SSA protocols. The retroactive payments I mentioned earlier for SSDI recipients are being distributed on a rolling basis throughout October. The SSA has stated that these payments will appear as separate deposits from your regular monthly benefit, and they should be clearly labeled as retroactive adjustment or similar terminology in your bank statement. If you believe you're eligible for retroactive payments but haven't received them by the 3rd week of October, the SSA recommends calling their customer service line to check on the status. These October adjustments also have important implications for your taxes and other benefits. The emergency law increase is treated the same as regular Social Security benefits for tax purposes, which means if you typically pay taxes on your Social Security income, you need to account for the higher amounts when planning for tax season. However, the retroactive payments may push some recipients into higher tax brackets for 2025. So it's worth consulting with a tax professional if you receive a substantial lump sum. For recipients who also receive Medicaid, food stamps, or other means-tested benefits, the Social Security increases shouldn't affect your eligibility in most cases. The emergency law is specifically excluded from income calculations for most federal assistance programs, at least through the end of 2025. However, state programs may have different rules, so it's important to check with your local benefits office if you're concerned about how these increases might affect other assistance you receive. Looking ahead, these October adjustments are just the beginning of what's expected to be a more responsive approach to benefit adjustments. The SSA has hinted that they're developing new systems to monitor economic conditions more closely and implement mid-year adjustments when necessary, rather than waiting for the traditional January timeline. This could mean more frequent but smaller adjustments in the future, helping benefits keep pace with rapidly changing economic conditions. The political implications of these changes are also worth noting. With the 2026 midterm elections approaching, both parties are likely to use these emergency benefit increases as talking points. Democrats are highlighting the increases as evidence of their commitment to protecting Social Security and supporting vulnerable Americans, while Republicans are raising questions about the long-term sustainability of such emergency measures and their impact on the Social Security trust funds. Speaking of trust fund sustainability, the SSA has been careful to emphasize that these emergency adjustments are being funded through existing reserves and don't represent new spending that would accelerate the depletion of Social Security's trust funds. However, independent analysts suggest that if emergency adjustments become more frequent, Congress will need to address long-term funding solutions more urgently than currently planned. For recipients who manage their finances carefully and budget around their expected benefit amounts, these increases represent a genuine opportunity to build emergency savings or address deferred expenses. Financial advisors are recommending that beneficiaries consider setting aside at least a portion of these unexpected increases, given the uncertain economic environment and the possibility that future adjustments might not be as generous. The customer service implications of these changes have been significant. The SSA has reported a massive increase in calls from recipients seeking clarification about their October payments, leading to longer than usual wait times for customer service. If you need to contact the SSA about your benefits, they're recommending using their online services whenever possible or calling during off-peak hours, early in the morning or late in the afternoon. As we wrap up this comprehensive look at the October benefit increases, remember that staying informed about changes to Social Security, disability, and veterans benefits is crucial for maximizing your financial security. These programs are constantly evolving, and being aware of changes like these October adjustments can make a real difference in your monthly budget and long-term financial planning. If this information has been helpful to you, please show your support by hitting that like button, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss important updates about your benefits. I'm committed to bringing you the latest news and analysis about Social Security, disability, and veterans programs, and your engagement helps me continue providing this valuable information to our community.